Welcome, my friends, to another 8 ends. It's the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. It's draw number 5 and it's moving day here at the arena Playdowns. We have some sheet B action between Team Padilla with the yellow rocks taking on Team Gilbert with the reds, as we see the lead for Padilla open with a draw or guard, likely a guard. It's going to be Michael Radin with his first rock. Hopefully we're going to have a good game on tap. This is the pool where all the teams are we're end of the day 1-1 last night. And the first pool 1 game this morning ended in favor of Team Skidmore. So Team Skidmore is on top of the table with a 2-1 record right now. That was a guard by Reagan. As we see Gerard Trimberger with his first. Not sure that rock that Raiden threw was a center line guard, like on the center line. So I think they were looking to put up a corner guard. This is actually going to end up going a little deep. So the back 8-foot, 12-foot zone. So Padilla could choose to take it on or ignore it. He is opting to ignore it, looking for a draw. Then Michael's second stone. Opening around the guard, it does. That was a nice draw around from Raiden. Let's see what Trimberger can do to answer. This is a guard. It's going to be a little light. It does get over the line though, so there's a good front stone. It does look like the stone is accessible still though. So now we have Trey McDonald with his first. Don't know if I mentioned club affiliations. Team Padilla hails from One Country Curling in Roseville, just outside of Sacramento. Team Gilbert is an oval rink out of the Oval Curling Club in Utah. I will note that I curl out of the oval. I've played with and against a lot of these teams, oval teams in the field. But I don't play favorites, as it were. So Trimberger puts up a guard. I don't know if that was a shot. So now with the 5-rock rule expired, we have Jerry St. James in the hack, looking to do some clearing action, some cleanup on aisle 2. So he's going to get 1. And that's all. This is a good clearing action. The shot stone's now open as McDonald throws his next. Looking to draw around the cluster of guards. Actually, this is going to be more of a front stone, I believe. And that really does cover the shot stone at the top of the 4-foot. So Jerry's being asked to do some more cleanup. Again, some heat coming from Jerry St. James. He's going to get one. Is there two there? The guard gets run back. And then the guard that cleared out the shot stone rolls to the edge of the 8-foot. It's shot buried on the right wing there. But it's hard to do it any better than what Jerry St. James did. This is Alex Connolly with his first. Looking to draw around. It's going to hang out wide and settle in the top 12-foot. Not too bad. It's third shot. So now we have the skip. Ramin throws third rocks, head down to the hack. Looking to hit, and I think maybe roll under if they can. Jerry holds the broom for Ramin. Looking to push it over. It's going to hit the outside. There's a jab possibility, but thankfully it shoots under the red rock. The shooter also goes away. So Alex's nets, I think, looking to the draw again. Ice has been pretty speedy. The curl has been a bit interesting insofar as that one side doesn't curl as much as the other. Although this is our first time on sheet B as a features sheet. We've been on sheet C for most of the event at this point, but we're moving to sheet B for the rest of the day. That draw, just a little heavy, settles in the back 8-foot, 12-foot area. And looking at the overhead, it looks like the red on the right outcounts it by a sliver. But that would mean that Padilla is sitting 1 and 3, and Gilbert is the second shot. If the end were to conclude right now, which it won't. I mean, barring some unforeseen circumstance. So it looks like they're going to try to hit the hit again. If they hit and stick, they will be shot in the full 8-foot, the white circle. So looking for some takeout heats from Ramin Gilbert with his second. He wants his shot to be as hot as it is outside in Tempe. It's 97 degrees right now. Probably 33 degrees Celsius if I were to guess. This is overcurling a little bit. So they went for the lighter weight and it just over-curled on them, unfortunately. So sitting 1 right now, Danny Padilla is going to, I think, put another one in. Probably a front stone on top of the house if he can. Set up for the draw. I think I want to time this one, see how it looks. To get a sense of how fast the ice is, teams often measure the time between the hog lines, which is at the top of the field of play. So there's a hog line now. Gave it a bit of an ad. So I'm curious to see what happens here. Got 1384, so this is probably back to the house. Oh, it's just back four, so that was a good draw there from Danny Padilla. The out turn counterclockwise rotation. It's shot. I don't want to guess how buried it is. It's only about 20% buried. As we see David Hurst, the fourth for Team Gilbert, just set in the hatch. So he's, I think, looking to draw and tap back. Gilbert has the hammer this end, so they're looking to try to see if they can get two here. They need to at least get one and avoid giving up multiple points, because right now, to this point, Padilla is sitting two, but David Hurst's draw there shifts it to one red. So that was a good draw there from Mr. Hurst. Warm Room suggests that maybe they could have sweeping until it gets to like a corner freeze on that back yellow, and that makes a lot of sense. It would give Padilla a bigger target to draw to, but right now Padilla has like a hit target, like a heavy draw hit target. Looking at the overhead, or over the shoulder view, it looks like well, this is the head-on view, sorry. It looks like it's only about 30% open, so like a heavy draw would maybe tap it out. And yeah, if they did do the corner freeze, it would be hard for Padilla to get the redstone out. So he could maybe draw on top, and then, you know, it would have been an interesting maneuver to see what would have happened. As the broom is down for Danny Padilla's last. Mr. Padilla throws left-handed. So looking for, it's hanging now, but we've seen that the ice is curling, you know, from the outside in, so it looks pretty good at first blush. And it's going to chip the red back onto the yellow, so that shot worked out for Gilbert. But now the issue is, the question is, how might they be able to get two? And I think Ramin's saying there might not be anything. War Room is saying that it would be super tricky to get a second point just because the ice is just so... Oh, they threw it away. So that makes perfect sense. So Padilla forced Gilbert to a single point, so mission accomplished for Padilla, but Gilbert's on the board with the early lead, 1-0, but Team Padilla will have the hammer when we come back to the 2025 MoPac Championships, presented by curling.gg. And ongoing coverage of our event is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com, offering a ranking of the top men's and women's teams from around the world, updated throughout the competitive season. Viewers can check out how their favorite team stacks up against the competition at doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. For stips and curlers who love a good game, curling.gg is your ultimate practice tool. Free, easy, and all about strategy. Visit curling.gg to test your skills right now. And by Endgame Curling. Unlock the next level with Endgame's leading edge curling brooms and accessories. Manufacturer of the Endgame Origin, Endgame Icon, and the travel handle, endgamecurling.com. Alright, Rocks in play. We're underway here in this second end. I'm going to go around the rings, and it's going to be a pretty brief trip because there's only one other game on the ice this end. as Jerry's draw goes to the back 12 foot and hang on, maybe. It's like a sliver, and I don't even think it's touching the house. It's just a little deep. So Michael Reagan's first, looking to draw or put up a guard. So there's one other game on the ice. While we have a moment to let you guys know what's what. It's a women's game, and actually by the nature of the event, there's only one women's game on the ice at any time because there's 3 teams, and so there's no way that you can have 2 games with only 3 teams. That was a guard there from Michael. As we see Gerard's second throw, I think looking to do a draw again, but a little lighter this time. So on sheet D, the women's game, we have Team Connolly from Wine Country taking on Team Mewers of OC Curling. Mewers had the hammer to start and was able to convert with a 2 spot and is currently up 2-0. And that ends our trip around the rings as Gerard's shot makes into the rings as a top front stone, pretty decent. Maybe offering a tempting target for Team Padilla to take on. Working on my onomatopoeia and alliteration here. So. Reagan's next rock, looking to draw around the guard he just put up. Looking maybe a smidge light. Like middle of ultra light. Sometimes it doesn't have flavor. It just, anyway. So it does not get into the rings. It's a guard. As we see Jerry St. James with his first. I think looking to either draw around or to tap back is the call. It's going to tap. And it taps under the guards, and the shooter itself is going to settle out of play. So that's kind of a good tap back. And so now Padilla is looking to either maybe, he's looking to draw around. The other possibility would be to start clearing the front so they'd have a chance to get, a chance to clear out the front stones. So this is Trey McDonald's first of the end. Looking for the clockwise in-turn draw. Weight's looking decent. That's actually pretty textbook for what Padilla wanted. They didn't curl it as much as they had hoped. So I think as Gilbert touched his shoe, they're looking for hack weight. With Jerry's second shot, looking for a soft weight takeout. It's looking pretty good. I think they might be hoping for a little bit of a roll. But as it is, they get the hits, and it misses the red in the back. the tripping hazard or backstop, as it were. So that was a good hit from Mr. St. James as we have Trey's second stone coming up. And now teams are kind of trading hits back and forth. And I think Padilla's hoping for a little roll here with McDonald's is next. He's calling for curl, hoping to coax it over, I believe. And this is just kind of hanging out. It's going to maybe get a piece of the red and push it under the cover more. And so Gilbert doesn't have the hammer this end, so he's helping to control the front and the center of the house in the guard zone area. And so now he's, I think, looking to lock down the front to prevent Padilla from getting to those shot stones on the right side of this view. So the broom is down, looking for a draw, a front stone guard, pardon me. As Gilbert's shot is away. It's hanging out, but I think we've seen it finish late. At 15-20, so this could go into the top of the rings. And it does. So now there's a double set up for Padilla to take on. So as a front stone, it was a bit of a miss, unfortunately. So Padilla is also calling for a soft weight takeout. Possible double for Alex Connolly, who is the spouse of the skip of Team Connolly, who's in the women's field. It's always kind of fun to see curling couples on the ice at events. Indicated the weight's up for Connolly's first shot. They're trying to push it over. And let's see if I can get a shot of what's happening. He's going to do one. It's going to roll on top of the shot stones on the right. So that was a pretty good shot for Mr. Connolly. So it rolls on top of the red shot stone. So now it's a one Gilbert stone. So if the end were to end, it's 1-3 Gilbert, and then Padilla has the second shot. But only one team scores per end, just as a reminder. So it looks like Gilbert's going to get another crack at that front stone. Going for the in-turn clockwise rotation. Scoopers are just kind of walking it down. It's going to curl now, and it might sit on top of the yellow towards the top of the rings. It doesn't get to the rings, but it's going to really protect that draw path down the middle. So that was a good response from Gilbert after having a little bit of difficulty with his first. So Padilla's got the broom for Connolly's second rock. Supers are called off. And it's going to coast into the range. The question is, how deep is it going to go? It looks like it's going to settle into the back 8 foot, maybe full 12. And it does settle in the back 12 foot in the L in curling, which would be like the name of a person in a really bad Chinese, like it sounds like a parody of a Chinese name, like Curl Ling. So anyway. So we're to fourth stones. David Hurst is set, I think, looking to put up a front stone. So this is maybe going. It's a guard. No, actually, it's maybe going to sell into the rings. Now they're trying to coax it over. They don't want to go too deep and give an opportunity to Padilla, and it's close. That stone is now shot rock. Gilbert is sitting 2, but Padilla can make a play and like maybe hit and roll towards the red on the left. So that was probably not the best place to put that stone. So the broom's down for Danny Padilla for his first. When you look at the head-on view, the weight has to be very precise because they want to hit on the inside of that rest. They need to do it around that guard and did on the inside of the shot stone. And that's going to be a tricky shot, especially given that Padilla is throwing left-handed, so he has a slightly different angle than the right-handed players on his team. So kind of crossing over the center of the sheet is going to be a challenge. It's not impossible though, as we see Danny Padilla looking to draw on top with his first. Supers are called on. This looks like it's curling. Oh, it almost curled almost out of hand. And so it looks like it's going to crash on the red. But it does open up that path, which could have been like the plan B that Padilla wanted. It's not a bad outcome. Just a couple slight misses from both of the fourths for both Gilbert and Padilla. But not I mean, they're not disastrous misses, they're just slight misses, And I was going to mention this in some of the other games, but curling, especially at a more competitive level, really swings on mistakes. The team that, makes the fewer mistakes usually prevails in a game of this nature because good teams are able to capitalize on the other team's errors. And so with these near misses, they're not quite mistakes, but they're opportunities really. And as you see, David Hurst's next. I think again trying for the front stone with the clockwise release. And so yeah, definitely a front stone guard is what they want, and that is what they're going to get. As Trimberger tries to push it over just a little bit with the final couple rotations of the rock. And that was pretty well placed for Gilbert. Let's look at the head-on view. And we can see here that there's not, I don't think there's a port. There's like a gap between the two center stones, between the red and the yellow, but I don't think there's a port. And so Padilla, I think, just is always looking at maybe angle raising the yellow on the left from this view. That is a shot. That's where they're putting the broom, and that's kind of where I think they need to put it. Going back to the overhead, they could try to do a heavy draw maybe around the center guard and tap the red back, but I don't know if they're going to tap it enough to remove it from a counting stone. Because right now Gilbert's sitting 2, and Gilbert's looking for a shot. Like a best case scenario, they could get both those reds moving. Worst case scenario, they absolutely miss, give up 2. A more optimal situation is they move one of the reds out and score 1. High difficulty, this is the risk reward factor. High risk, but the reward might be not giving up multiple points. Sweepers are on it. It looks pretty close. It's going to get 1, it looks like, and that was kind of the likely outcome there. It cuts Gilbert down to 1. I think that's a pretty excellent still shot there. There was kind of the absolute best outcome, and that's a pretty good plan B outcome there from Danny Padilla. The end result is a steal of 1 for Team Gilbert. So interesting outcome. We'll be back in just a moment when we continue with our coverage of the 2025 Arena Playdowns, coming to you live from Coyotes Curling Club in Tempe, AZ. Rocks in play. We're underway here in this third end. It's a 2-0 game in favor of Team Gilbert, hailing from the Oval Curling Club. Named because it's based at the Utah Olympic Oval in western Salt Lake County. Gerard is the drawing in. It's fun to say it 5 times fast. We're playing up to 8 ends of regulation, although teams that are down can choose to resign early. As we see Michael Reagan get set. And coverage of this end is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com. It is a stat lover's dream. If you love curling, if you love numbers, doubletakeout.com is the site for you. This barely gets over the hog line. Throughout the competitive curling season, Ken Pomeroy updates the site with the results of the latest competitive curling events and creates a custom ranking. You can see how your favorite team stacks up against the rest of the world at doubletakeout.com. So Gerard's second stone, I think looking to put up a front stone or to tap back would be my guess. So Gerard has been curling for a number of years. Oh man. So teams provided player bios, and Team Gilbert took that to heart and has these epic biographies that I will do my best to get into as the game progresses. Padilla also understood the assignment with their bios. So that front stone from Trimberger worked out. This next stone coming from Michael Reagan. Looking to go around their corner guard that they just put up with an intern. It crashes on the guard. Rolls towards the center. Not a bad outcome. It's something they could use later in the end. So Jerry St. James is about to throw his first. Jerry's been curling for 3 years. And here we go with the bio. The story of Jerry entering the curling world is quite complex. Born in Michigan, Jerry always dreamed of the chance to go curling. However, the stars never aligned for him to take the ice. As you may know, Jerry is persistence, and thus began a tale of a small-town Midwest boy who turned a random sport that all of America watches every 4 years into his vice. A reason to grab a beer, not that one was needed, frequent trips to Las Vegas, and a passion for cheering on his skip when he swoops a rock. And that was like the first paragraph. So there's more coming as we see Trey McDonald with his first. And Jerry kind of crashed into the rocks in the rings. And McDonald answers with a takeout. And that shot was made. The shooter rolls through the rings to the back of the playing area and not scoring. So Jerry's, I think, going to try and draw around with his next stone. Jerry's dream became a reality when he moved to Salt Lake in the fall of 2022 after a learn to curl session and subbing in several games where he went undefeated with a slider in a club broom. Jerry decided to get his own broom and shoes and started in his first league the following January. That draw settles into the back of the rings. I think that is shot right now. Just a little deep. So the story of Trey. Trey's story is also fairly fanciful. He grew up spending his summers at his family's chalet high up in the mountains of Switzerland after spending his days apprenticing in his grandpa Fritz's cough drop factory. Trey would often spend his off time up in the mountains with a Ricola yodeler. This led to a lifetime of traveling and sharing his passion with the world. While participating in a yodeling competition at the Iowa State Fair, Bob Barker was passing by while enjoying a giant corn dog when he heard Trey's majestic bellow and said, quote, "I need to get that sound in a game." Nowadays, Trey can be heard on The Price is Right as the yodeler in the infamous cliffhanger game. Next time you see him, ask for a yodel. So that draw, that was not a takeout from McDonald, that was a draw, and that was a pretty good place for it. Puts it right on top of the shot stone. So now it is Padilla sitting shots, but in the back, and so it gives space for Gilbert to make a play on. So Ramin was born and raised in Florida and spent most of his life thinking ice only came in cubes. Moving to Utah in 2006 after college and starting to take an interest in the sport while watching that year's Olympics. But for reasons completely unbeknownst to him, he didn't actually take up the sport until 2022. And that's a draw. It puts it right on the top of the forefoot. That's a good shot there. So Padilla is looking to clear things out a little bit, asking for a hack weight takeout from Connolly. So Connolly's been curling for 3+ years. He was a B bracket runner-up at the Silicon Valley Bonspiel in 2023. The following year, he was the B bracket runner-up at the Barrel Bonspiel at One Country, and he does make contact with the shot stone and pushes the red back to the 12-foot and sticks around to be shot. So that is now Padilla sitting 2 and making some shots with a soft weight. So Gilbert, he spends most of his time parenting 3 kids, showing them where to sweep, pointing them in the right direction, and breaking up fights over whose turn it is to throw. After leaving the ice, he goes home to 3 more kids, ages 10, 8, and 6, who are much better behaved and very less exhausting. In his free time, Ramin enjoys doing literally anything that doesn't involve kids, such as golf, hiking, and traveling far away. His day job is in web development, but he aspires to one day make millions of dollars just by being a somewhat tall and handsome curler. And he is able to make contact with the shot stone. The shooter's going to roll to the edge of the 12-foot. So it's a good shot there from Gilbert. So Connolly, he does not yodel apparently. Not that I've asked. But just over 3 years ago on a cold weekend morning, his now wife and him, he's married to Jordan, who's also playing in the events. They were watching Good Day Sacramento, and they were interviewing Cameron Spangler with One Country at Skatetown Ice in Roseville. Since they lived 15 minutes away from Skatetown, they immediately went to the One Country website and signed up for their first Learn to Curl. And thus began the love story on the ice. And that draw from Connolly is on the money. So Padilla has the hammer this end, and they're sitting 2 with David Hurst in the hack. David's been curling for 3 years, and he enjoys curling after participating in the local speed skating club sessions at the Utah Olympic Oval. He also makes the ice, driving the Zamboni at the same facility. That includes preparing the ice for national speed skating athletes, the newly acquired Utah Hockey Club for their practice, and also for the Oval Curling Club's lead nights. He was born in Taylorsville, Utah, grew up in Maryland and D.C., and attended the U of U, which in this case stands for the University of Utah. And so just a bit of a heavy draw, but that's enough to draw on top of the yellows, push the yellows back a little bit. And so now it is Gilbert sitting shot with a decent amount of backing, although there is a way to chip out that red if they wanted to go after it now. As Danny Padilla shows some hustle down the ice. I don't come up with nicknames, but I wonder if Danny Pads is a nickname for Danny. Or like if it's fun to play with him, is it like is a thriller with Padilla? I know it's a slant rhyme. Padilla's first shot. I think he is going to go after chipping out that red that was the yellow, the red that was just put up. Pardon me. They're trying to push it over. It's going to be, if they make contact, it's just going to be a kiss. And it's not going to get back. Oh, it just kiss. So that does not improve the situation, unfortunately. Because they really needed some solid contact to get that red out of the way, and they only ended up pushing it into the yellows. So now Hurst is going to put up a front stone, and to really make the draw hard for Padilla for his last. So Hurst's rock is away. They just need a front stone to end up as a guard, and it wouldn't be too bad. But they also want to narrow the scoring area if they can. So the line's the most important part. Where it ends up is the second most important part as Ramin gets out to help and ushers it to the top 12 foot. So it's not going to be a counting stone, but it does narrow the draw path and the scoring area ever so slightly. So Padilla basically has a draw at this point. There's not a real chance to blank the end or get multiple points here. But barring an unfortunate circumstance, he will likely get on the board this end. And Danny Padilla has been curling for 3.5 years. He curled one time with Dan Stephanie, leaving them 2 Dans short of their ultimate goal of the perfect curling team, which I guess would be all Dans. It'd be a Dan's revolution, as it were. So we're going for a draw with Danny Padilla's last. The hammer here in the third end. Did a little positive release, kind of adding a little energy with an arm extension. Trey is sweeping. I think Trey to hold the line. They need to be full 8 foot. I got 1447, so the weight's close. Needs to be biting the 4 foot really to make sure they have the shot, and they do. It settles in on the edge of the button, so that's good for 1. Great shot there from Danny Padilla for the single. So it's a close game right now as Padilla draws within 1. Team Gilbert has the hammer when we come back to the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships, coming to you live from Tempe, Arizona. We are back to our ongoing coverage of the arena playdowns at the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. Michael Reagan's first rock is away in this fourth end of a possible 8 ends of regulation, going for a guard. And it looks like it's solidly on the center line. We are observing the no tick rule as an extension of the 5 rock free guard zone rule, as Gerard gets set for his first. I think looking to draw around. No, he's putting up a corner guard. Apologies. Question is if it's going to be a guard. It's going to settle in the rings, which could be what they wanted. Settles in the back 12 foot. So coverage of this end is being brought to you by curling.gg. For skips and curlers who love a good game, curling.gg is your ultimate practice tool. Free, easy, and all about strategy. Visit curling.gg to test your skills right now. So this is a little light from Michael's second. Looks like it is going to go over the hog line, but that might be all they get out of it. They do get a guard. It's close to a mid guard. And so now they have staggered center guards. It's a pretty common strategy, an effective strategy for the team that doesn't have the hammer to put up guards to kind of draw play towards the center of the sheets, the center of the rings. As Gerard gets set for his next stone. So for Gerard, a demiguard, forged in a molten pit of pure ice and solid granites. Descending from a long lineage of Celtic warriors, Gerard was raised as a mortal in the shadows of the mighty Mount Rainier. In the year 2019, Gerard established a formidable bastion nestled within the heart of Salt Lake City, a citadel that would serve as a beacon of his indomitable spirits. And there's more. I'll get to it later. This is Trey's first. So Trey's looking to draw around the center guards that were put up by Michael's first couple. This is definitely going to get past the guards. The question is how deep and how far covered are they going to be, and this looks pretty good from Michael. Settles in the back 4 foot as shots. So Gerard's shot ended up in the 12 foot on the left there. As Jerry St. James is asked to do some cleanup. It's one of the yellows moving after some contact with the other yellow in the guard zone. So a pretty good clearing action there from Jerry St. James. So I think that Trey's going to put up a front stone or a guard if he can. And looks like this looks pretty good for Trey, as it does cover that shot stone. And it looks like Gilbert's going to ask for some more clearing action from Jerry. Looks like he's going to try to set up a double. He's got the broom down for it. So Jerry's story continues. After taking up curling for the first time 3 months later, he traveled to his first bonspiel, and at the time he didn't even know what the word bonspiel meant, how to spell it, or that there was basically one every weekend somewhere. Let's see if that clearing action is on tap. He's got one of them, and the shooter's going to roll away. Still opens things up a little bit. Also, it was the approach that Gilbert wanted, so it didn't open up the guard that's protecting shot stone, but it does open things up. So Connolly, after taking their first Learn to Curl class, he and his wife Jordan have been curling non-stop ever since. It's his first competitive event, hopefully the first of many to come. He's excited to be here, and he would like to say hi to his parents and sister who are hopefully watching in Tennessee, and also to the rest of the Connollys and the Crendels that might be watching out there. So that shot from Connolly does put up another front stone guard. And there's some offset staggers, so it's going to be tricky to move both of them, although it does set up a possible double, and it looks like that's what Gilbert is going for. Looking for some curl. And it's gonna just flash and go by everything. So that's a tricky shot. Well, I say it's a tricky shot. With the weight that he threw, it made it tricky. And so I've been kind of joking throughout the weekend. I'm keeping score of the shots just for personal, and entertainment value. And so the code for clearing out the front is a C. And then an intern is an I, and then if it's a score is 0, it's a letter O, or 0. So, but it says CIO or maybe Chow, which is like farewell. The things I do just, I don't know. I track myself up sometimes, and I hope I track you guys up too from time to time, because that's a big reason why we're here. And that's another front stone put up by Alex Connolly. Guard, pretty well placed, and Gilbert's not going to be able to get rid of all those. And the reason why they're going so hard for those stones, you can see the situation here. Padilla's sitting shot right now, but Gilbert has the second and third stones in the rings that could be brought into counting if he can. And so that's why I think Gilbert's trying to open up the front so they can access that shot stone. So he's going to get 1, he's going to get 2. He does get the second stone to go out of play. That is a double takeout brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Gilbert's trying to open up the front so they can access that shot stone. So he's going to get 1, he's going to get 2. He does get the second stone to go out of play. That is a double takeout brought to you by doubletakeout.com. That was a great recovery there from Gilbert. As we are to skip stones, and it looks like Padilla is going to go with what's working for him, and that is the front stone guard, and really kind of protect their shot stone. Although they could put another stone in the rings and really kind of give another target for Gilbert to contend with. You have to kind of look at your options here. I mean, sometimes it's tempting to just kind of protect the one that you have, to protect your nest egg, as it were. But sometimes you got to make a risk. So sweepers are called onto it, and so this is going to, I think, kind of do more what I was thinking they were looking for, and that's a draw undercover. That was a good shot there from Mr. Padilla. So now Padilla is sitting 2, and that shot stone is covered. So now I think they could try to take out both those yellows, but I don't know what that would accomplish. So they're looking to clear the front with 2 stones to go. As David Hurst gets set. Looking to do some cleanup on aisle 2 again. It's going to get 1, and that's going to be all, but it does open it up. So that was a good clearing action there from David Hurst. So now Padilla is looking to put up a front stone guard. It's not a lot of ice, but let's see what's on tap for Mr. Padilla. So they yelled out 2, which means it's going to be in the middle of the guard zone. Going for the counterclockwise release. And this over curls slightly, but it might be enough. So David and Ramin are talking it over as the front end comes to take a look at the situation. Maybe not too much to talk about because of David's kind of moving back towards the hat. I think the rocks are not well positioned for a double. And so I think they were maybe talking to see if they could get the other reds in the rings into play, and I don't know if it's there. I think they're going to try. I think they're going to try and do a heavy draw, hit the inside of the shot stone, and maybe roll back to the yellow in the back forefoot. And that seems to be the shots. Pressure's on for David Hurst with his last rock, the hammer, coming in the 4th end. Facing 2. Supers, okay, Jerry's on it now. Looks like it's soft weight, so it's not going to probably get both those stones moving. It's probably just going to get 1 moving. Is it going to be enough for shots? And it's not going to, as it pushes the yellow back and then rolls on top of the second yellow. So it appears to be a steal of 2 for Team Padilla to take a 3-2 lead into the 4th end halftime break. So that was a tricky situation for Hurst and Team Gilbert. And we'll see how they respond after this 5-minute halftime break. The halftime show for this draw is going to feature ice sculptures in the parking lot. It's 100 degrees right now, and what perfect weather for ice sculptures. So there's a chainsaw ice sculpture demonstration happening right now, and we're going to have it live, but it won't be on camera, unfortunately. So you have to be here to see it, and it's going to be next as we continue with our halftime coverage of the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships. And coverage of this event is brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Updated throughout the competitive curling season with the results of top competitive competitions. The information is used to create a custom ranking of the top men's and women's teams from around the world. doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. Next time you're confused on ice, take a photo, recreate it on curling.gg, and try multiple outcomes. It's at curling.gg. And by Endgame Curling, unlock the next level with Endgame's leading edge curling brooms and accessories. Endgamecurling.com. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to go around the rings when we come back. We can go around the rings right now, even. There's only one game on the ice. There's only one other game on the ice. So the other game on the ice is on sheet D, the women's pool play between Team Connolly of Wine Country taking on Team Ewers of OC Curling. It's a tight battle as they're about to finish the fourth end. Ewers is currently up 3-1 over Team Connolly. So live scores are being posted to Bonspieler.com, and we'll be right back to the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg.
If we start bridging on the other side of it.
Was it the first rock from Michael Regenhard as we resume our coverage of the 2025 DoubleTakeout.com MoPac Championships. It's the Arena Playdowns coming to you live from Coyotes Curling Club, just steps away from the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. I think I calculated how many steps it was last time. It's not a small amount of steps. So Gerard Trimberger draws into the rings with his first stone. And let's see how Michael responds. Michael's been curling for 2.5 years. He is a member of the Puerto Rico Curling Federation and is a retired 21-year U.S. Air Force military member. The score is currently 3-2 in favor of Padilla. And it looks like Radin was able to put up the guard with his second shots. And so now it looks like, I think Trimberger's being asked to put up a front stone. So Gerard's biography continues. Through centuries of toil and anguish, the Friars found a particular love for the strategy of curling, and in the fall of 2022 was named the skip of his team. Under Gerard's leadership, his team at Jailers won the C event in only their second league appearance. Oh no, this is Styler's bio. I apologize. It changed all of a sudden. Still as florid as the first one, though. Yeah. All right, so that turned into a stone in the rings. Sets up a possible double for Trey McDonald to take on. And this is... Oh, he had the other rotation. I thought he was going with the inside out. Clockwise rotation, but he was going with the counterclockwise, and it just overcurled. An unfortunate miss there. So now, with the 5-rock rule over, Jerry St. James is going to peel the guard. They are calling line though. And unfortunately it leads to a jam, but it does clear the front. And the shooter sits around as a corner guard. And coverage of this end is being brought to you by Endgame Curling, manufacturers of the Endgame Icon and the Endgame Origin, as well as the travel handle. Both the Icon and the Origin feature eco-friendly fabric replacement and innovative locking sliding position, a large radius sliding bar, adjustable pivot resistance, quick disconnect broom head, and more. EndgameCurling.com. So McDonald was asked to draw with his nets to kind of split the rings a little bit, give another target for Gilbert to be concerned about. That's a good shot, a good response after missing the takeout with his first. So Jerry St. James is looking to hit, and I think roll if you can. This looks to be a nose hit. It is.
Whatever that place was.
The story of Jerry, after learning what a bonspiel was, he started to travel more and interested in most local spiels, including those in his favorite destination city, Las Vegas. Outside of the world of curling, Jerry spends most of his time staying active, traveling, and spending time outdoors doing a variety of activities. As the sweepers jumped on that stone right out of hand for Connolly. And looks like he's going to hit the red. Gets the red out, and then the shooter is going to roll under cover, buried on the left side from this view. So that was a good outcome. And Team Gilbert, also known as the Complete Sheet Show, in our club league, they've stayed together as a team for almost 3 years now, since they all started curling about the same time. There's been some lineup changes as needed, but they've definitely had kind of the core four. This is them right now on the ice. And so for Ramin, their team's past experience at Arena Playdowns, they qualified in 2023, pardon me, and then they were in the semifinals in 2024. This looks to be a draw. This is maybe the weight's decent. They just need to make sure it gets into the reins and doesn't over curl. It just needed like another 2 feet. It is something they can use later in the end, but right now it is Padilla sitting 2 with Gilbert having the 3rd and 4th stones in the house. And again, only one team can score. So Connolly's Rock is away. And so Padilla wanted to put a front stone in front of the red that Gilbert just put up. And that looks like a mission accomplished there from Alex. Because there's not, I don't think there's a port there. They could take on the shot stone and roll under if they could. I mean, they don't. This is a tricky situation because they're looking at playing the front, but if they hit and roll under cover, they could set up 2 that way, and that would get them back in the lead, and they would have control of the game really for the second half. Although it's Gilbert's second stone, so there'll be 2 stones after Gilbert. So they're looking to, I think, peel or run the yellow back on top of the red. So just really kind of get everything moving, I believe. Gerard's trying to push it over, and it's going to be close. It's going to run the yellow just across the top. So it does clear the guard. So not a bad outcome. Opens up the center. But the situation is pretty similar to where Padilla is sitting 2 and Gilbert has shots 3 and 4. As Danny Padilla makes his way to the hatch. I think looking to draw or do a very similar shot to his first. Danny Padilla's first, going for the counterclockwise rotation. Weight looks like it's going to go into the rings, if not all the way through. Although this is going to actually hit the red. Oh, it doesn't actually hit the red. So that's a guard. And that's pretty much what Padilla wanted, I believe. So on sheet D, the contest between Team Connolly of Wine Country and Team Ewers of OC Curling. Connolly scored 2 in the 4th end to tie things up. They're all square at 3, with Ewers holding the hammer in the 5th end. So we are to the 4th stones as David Hurst gets set. They're trying to unlock those stones in the top center again. I just don't feel it's necessary to get 2, but let's see what happens. So this looks like it's on the guard. So there might be a plan B where the shooter is going to roll on top of the yellow. So the situation in the rings is pretty similar aside from the added Gilbert block. Padilla sitting 2. And Gilbert has the 3 outside shots. So I think barring a weird happenstance, it seems unlikely for Gilbert to get 2 here, and the force is on for Team Padilla.
So it's either got to be buried or like.
So Padilla is getting set for his final shot. I think I would probably put up a front stone and just maybe force Gilbert to make a really tough draw for 1, as Padilla's shot is away. Some of Padilla's experience includes being at Arena Playdowns, one time playing the lead. He's also the champion at the 2023 Silicon Valley Bonspiel and won the B event of the 2024 MoPac 5 and under event. So a pretty decent resume for a relatively new curler. And that does curl into the pile, or towards the pile. The warm room would really like to draw here. But Gilbert and Hurst are looking for a hit and stick. This is the port is pretty open. This is a debatable call, shall we say? As David Hurst gets set, facing 2, hoping for a nose hit for 1. So it looks pretty close. It needs to make sure it's on the schnoz, and they don't want it to roll too far one way or the other. It rolls in slightly, so it paid off. It's a tough way to get 1, but they made it work. And so we are all square at 3. Team Padilla has the hammer when we come back to the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg.
It's like good enough, good enough, good enough, good enough, good enough.
Thank you everyone tuning in for this broadcast. We're going to be next on the air at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Mountain Standard Time for a contest between Team Pomeroy at the Oval taking on Team Blackshirt of OC Curling. Sorry, I had to remember for a second. And again, that game is going to be at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Mountain Standard Time. And then our nightcap is set for 8 p.m. Pacific Mountain Standard. It's currently set for Team Feldman taking on Team Yours. It's the last game of pool play, so we might change cameras. We'll see what happens. Our strategy for these games is to try to showcase as many teams as possible, and we're able to get 9 of the 12 teams in the field on the broadcast. So definitely we do our best, and we'll see what we can do later tonight. But that is the schedule for now. And stay tuned to the MoPac YouTube channel or the MoPac Facebook page for more information. Check your local listings. Yeah, just go down, invent a time machine, go back to 1996, drop 75 cents for an issue of TV Guide. We talked about stuff in the early 2000s, and some players like, oh yeah, I was 8 when something happened in the early 2000s. It's like, you don't have to rub it in. And they weren't. This is obviously very much joshing. So Rocks and Play, we're underway here in this 6th of 8 possible ends of regulation. Get you caught up on the action here as we are near the end of the lead rocks. Looks like Gilbert is playing into the rings and kind of tempting Padilla to go for a hit, and that is what Michael Reagan is being asked to do with his second stone. This is hanging out wide, and so that's kind of what Gilbert was hoping for. They baited the trap, and now it's going to close shut, perhaps. And coverage of this end is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Doubletakeout.com offers scads, metric scads of information about the top men's and women's teams from around the world. And you can sort by nation, so you can see how the top American teams fare, you can see how the top Canadian teams fare, the top Botswanian teams fare at doubletakeout.com. I don't think Botswana has a curling federation. So it looks like Trey McDonald's going to be asked to do some cleanup. Looks like McDonald's has been asked to throw mostly draws, but he's been able to throw some hits, and that does clear the front stone. So it's Gilbert sitting 2 open. So it looks like Gilbert wants another front stone from Jerry St. James. So Jerry St. James, he has 2 major travel goals: to visit all 50 states and all 63 national parks. Jerry is currently at 43 states and 21 parks. He may or may not use curling as a reason to hit additional states and parks. When he's not doing fun or exciting things, Jerry spends his day as a pharmacist, where he manages a team that provides patient education in especially diseased states and oversees compliance and quality initiatives. And that shot that he just put up is, shall we say, quality or quality, depending on who you asked. McDonald's going to be asked to clear this guard. Looking for a counterclockwise takeout. He's going to get one and just kisses the shot stone in the rings, but it's enough to clear the guard. So that's a positive outcome for Mr. McDonald. I haven't heard if his farm is doing okay. E-I-E-I-O. We have Gilbert, I think, looking to put up another front stone guard. He can draw into the pile, kind of start stacking them up. Gilbert does not have the hammer this end. Piling them in does make it harder for Padilla to get rid of all of them. Doing clean and multiple takeouts is a challenge for newer or less experienced teams, or teams that don't get a lot of time on quality ice. And this is an event for teams that don't get to be on quality dedicated ice very often. It's for arena clubs and arena players. And so that front stone, that guard from Gilbert was effective. Let's see what happens with Alex Connolly's next stone. Again, looking for some cleanup on aisle 2. Let me show you what I'm seeing. It does get the guard that was just put up, and it bumps the yellow guard back. So it's just kind of, the guards are starting to stack up. But the shot was effective by Mr. Connolly. And while we have a brief moment, another round of thank yous and appreciation to all the volunteers for this event. We have volunteers helping with the head ice official, and also the committee that's here. Also the volunteers from Coyotes. It's always a pleasure to visit this club, and the people are a huge part of why that is. So thank you to Coyotes and the volunteers for helping to make this a superlative experience for hopefully all the teams on this ice. So Gilbert's looking to put up a guard again with the counterclockwise rotation. Just a little chiss off the yellow guard and rolls back towards the center. That might be enough.
Not really. Maybe 25%.
So we have the last of the third stones with Alex Connolly. The situation in the house has been pretty unchanged. Team Gilbert is sitting 2, and Padilla's, I think, moving from the clearing the guards to just trying to draw in. With Connolly's net stone, a bit of a smile. He kind of had a balance, I think, wobble with his release. And he went out a bit wide, so the question is, where is it going to come back to? And it looks like it's going to get into the rings. It's going to, that curl is pretty nice, that finish. As it's going to sit in the back 8 foot. It's good for second shots. So that was a good change of shots. Cuts Gilbert down to 1 in this 6th of 8 possible ends of play. So it looks like Gilbert has the broom down for David Hurst to follow Alex down to the back of the 4 foot. And David's shot is away. This looks about the same ice. It looks maybe a smidge lighter than Alex's, but if they basically are biting the top 4 foot, that's probably a decent outcome. Or protect the shot stone. So it's a front stone guard. So it's currently Gilbert sitting 1 and 3, Padilla sitting 2. And the path to the button is getting smaller and smaller. And so Padilla is going to try to force his way open so he has a chance to draw for at least one. And they're looking at different draw paths. And that draw path on the outside right is pretty... I don't think it can get all the way to the button. They might get to full 4-foot. They could also be trying to set up a double. Angle raise the red onto the red shot stone and get them both moving. And that seems to be the call. So the broom is down. It has been down as Danny Padilla is getting set for his first 2 skip stones here in the 6th end. I was momentarily distracted because there was a technical timeout on sheet 4. Looks like for medical. Looks like maybe a cut. So they're looking to address that. As looking to address the situation on our feature sheets. It's over curling, so it's going to crash on the guard, but then it ricochets on top of the red guard they wanted to move, and they actually are able to move it through and out of play. So that worked out for them. So sometimes there's an adage that I think Russ Howard mentioned before, but basically, even if it's not the shot that you wanted to make, if you make the shot, that was the shot you wanted to make. And I'm paraphrasing a bit, but sometimes Plan B is as good as Plan A, if not better. So it does open things up, and Hurst is going to be, I think, trying to do the draw again. So this is David's last. Gerard jumps on it. I think just also to help keep the line, and it's over curling slightly, but it's going to sit right in front of the shot stone. So I think a decent outcome. Let's see if they can see any of it, and then from this head-on view, I'm not seeing any sort of chip out or anything like that. So it looks like Padilla is going to be content with trying to draw for one. So pretty interesting end, especially with lots of rocks in play, trying to find some way to get a multiple point score, and it's just going to be a settle for a draw for one, facing one, as Danny Padilla gets set for the counterclockwise draw. The in-turn if you're a lefty. Supers are called on it right away. Weight's going to be an issue. They need to make sure it gets into the rings. They need to be biting the 4-foot to count. And it's going to be close as the vice comes out to help, but it's too late. It's going to over curl and just stop in the 12-foot. So that's going to be a steal of one for Team Gilbert to take a 4-3 lead over Team Padilla. But Padilla has to hammer another chance for a multiple point score when we come back to the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. Update on sheet D, the technical timeout is over. All the players are back on the ice, so whatever first aid that was needed has been attended to. Oh, I apologize. So one player has retired, and hopefully that's being attended to. Apologies for the imprecision on my report. And we definitely hope that the injured player is able to get the attention they need. And that player was from Team Gilbert. So just as a refresher of the rules, if a player needs to retire, they can either bring on the fifth player if the fifth player is available, or they can play with 3 for the remainder of the game, and that is what Muir is opting to do. Currently the score on sheet D is 4-3 in favor of Team Connolly. And Muirs does have the hammer in this 6th end, although it looks like Connolly is sitting shots. So Team Padilla put up a guard as Gerard drew into the rings. And Gerard's going to throw, I think, kind of a draw on top, but going for a front stone. So the story of Gerard, this epic tale. In the fateful March of 2022, Gerard, driven by an insatiable thirst for retribution, cast aside his axe and shields. In their stead, he grasped broom and stone, transforming the battlefield into a frozen expanse, a shimmering canvas of ice that stretched nearly 150 feet, embarking on odysseys across the realms of MoPac, Denver, Ogden, and the enigmatic Park City. His sole purpose to supplant all usurpers who dared to challenge his ascent. Triumph crowned him at the 2023 Cap and Curl, granting him a tantalizing taste of victory. Yet the craving for such heady triumphs proved unending, a hunger that continues to gnaw at the edges of his being. And there's more to this. Oh man, it's great when people give me something to say. Well, this bio is roughly a year and a half old, so, but it could be ChatGPT. Yeah. Oh man, there's so many adjectives too. All right, so Jerry's turn. At least no one's giving me like a Mad Libs. It's like. Yeah, Paco went to the stinky diner where he had, rubbery tortillas. Yeah. So there are 2 Gilbert Reds in the rings, but they are a little exposed for Trey McDonald to take on. It's starting to get a little crowded in the warm room as the teams are getting here for their next draw. And that looks like a pretty good shot from Trey McDonald to run one of the Reds back on the other red. Gets rid of the second counting red in the rings. So it's now just 1 Gilbert Red counting. As we have Jerry St. James' second throw. Looking to draw around the center guard. And I think just kind of parked it right on the lid, the button. This is going to tap the red guard back. into the rings. And I think that may have been a plan B. It splits the rings a little bit as there are now 2 Gilbert counters again with some separation. There could be a double there. I always like to say I think the double's there. The double is possible, but it's going to be tough. So I think what they're looking to do is to hit and roll with Trey's second stone. It's looking decent. It's going to nose hit the red and stick. So it's now 1 Gilbert red and Padilla is sitting second shots. So the broom is down for Gilbert to hit and roll. Supers are on it. It looks like it's going to be close to a nose hit. There's going to be a slight roll, actually a decent roll, towards the shot stone on the right or the left from this view. So that was a good outcome for Gilbert. And Padilla doesn't waste a moment putting the broom down for Alex to take on those shot stones. Teams are doing okay on time. As we're going to get 1 of the reds, and just a second moving is going to be enough to get through the rings out of play, and just barely hangs on, I believe. They're looking at it, can't see it from the overhead. And they kicked it. So that is a double takeout brought to you by doubletakeout.com. That's probably the longest I've had to wait for to call a double takeout. So it does open things up as the shooter rolls away. So Gilbert's going to make his way down. Actually, there's 1 yellow in the rings. I apologize. And so it looks like Gilbert's going to try to take it on. If he peels the guard, that's not a bad way to miss, but that guard's pretty high up. So this is hanging out wide. They're trying to push it over. Is it going to get back in time? It does not look like it, and it will flash. So just an unlucky miss there. So now Padilla is sitting 1, and now they can go to the races, set up a possible 2 score, maybe more if they're lucky. As Alex has another shot after his double takeout, that really almost out of nowhere double takeout. And again, thank you to everyone tuning in for this game. Our next featured game will be at 4:30 Pacific and Mountain Standard Time, where the contest will be Team Pomeroy of Oval Curling taking on Team Blackshear of OC Curling. I've been told there will be firecrackers on the ice. So people like waving firecrackers on the ice, and then the ice techs will like come out and like kill people for having smoky debris spewing objects on the ice. So it's David Hurst's turn. There's not going to be firecrackers on the ice. So there is a Padilla stone in the top 12 foot that they're looking to make a play on, and they do make a play, and then the shooter will roll somewhat buried in the 12 foot. So Padilla is still seeing shots, but there is a second Gilbert stone in the top 12 foot. So I think Padilla is going to try a very similar shot to what he asked Alex for his last. Looking to draw top 12 foot, biting the 8 foot. As Danny Padilla gets set. Looking for a draw. Let's time this bad boy. Little positive release there. Or a pause rail, as we call it. Please don't call it a pause rail. This is over curling. And got 1485, so it looks like it could get to the top of the rings if it didn't crash. And it looks like it did crash on the red guard, and it tapped the red guard just ever so slightly into the rings. And so Gilbert's going to try and get rid of the shot stone and then force Padilla to draw for 1. So unlucky miss there for Mr. Padilla. As David Hurst gets set for a takeout. As he winds up and slides out. Not a lot of weight, which is, I think, appropriate. Oh, they had to make sure they get around the guard. That's, I think, a factor. As soon as they're past the guard, Gerard's going to try and push it over as much as he can. And it's going to be enough, indeed, and the shooter's going to roll to the back of the rings out of play. So the takeout was made. That was a good shot by Mr. Hurst. So now Gilbert is sitting 2, and Padilla is now trying to force the draw. The positive thing is that the 8 foot circle is wide open for that draw. And so it's kind of an interesting situation if you're the skip or the 4th player throwing the very last rock for a draw. Like, people should have draws in their back pocket, the draws to the center of the house in their back pocket. And for whatever reason, it's hard to execute. Although Padilla just threw a draw, he just needs to throw a little bit more this time for that single point. So this is looking pretty good, out of hands. Now they're sweeping to make sure it goes the distance. We got 1393, so it could be a little on the heavy side. They don't, like, once it's in the rings in the 8 foot, they don't need to sweep it any further. And it settles in the top button for 1. So that was a good draw there from Mr. Padilla to secure the single point. And to tie things up, so we're all square heading to the 8th and final end of regulation, and we'll see it when we come back. And we'll also kind of recount what happened last night with Team Gilbert, because this is a very similar situation to what happened last night. And I'll get into that next when we continue with our 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships, coming to you live from Coyotes Curling Club in Tempe, Arizona. All right, it's time for the final countdown here in draw number 5 of the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. As we see Michael Reagan push out of the hat. I think looking for a guard here, looking to steal. So basically, Padilla needs to steal the win, and all Gilbert needs to do is score a single to secure their second victory of this tournament. The reason I was saying this is very interesting is that last night they were also tied with the hammer coming home in the 8th end, and they had either a draw or a nose hit for the win, and unfortunately the hit overcurled and crashed on the opponent's stone. That led to the other team stealing to end the win. So I'm going to be curious to see how Gilbert plays this end, given what happened last night. As Gerard is throwing, looking for, looks like a corner guard. Maybe slip into the rings. It will slip into the rings. So, finishing the story of Trimberger. In order to conceal Gerard's true identity as a curling warrior, he role plays as a software consultant during the work week. He participates in many outdoor activities that are common for mortals in his area: hiking, biking, camping, fishing, skiing, snowboarding, boating, 4x4ing, and sitting by a river in his hammock. When the weather and tides of battle turn grim, he occupies his time with indoor activities such as watching his beloved Seattle sports teams, Korean esports, and true crime documentaries. He is an elite amateur gamer, a top 1% in 3 mainstream games, and obviously a huge fantasy nerd. The end. Oh man. If I had to write a bio, I don't know what I would write, honestly. And that's kind of one of the questions that the teams have to come up with as they submit information for these events. Obviously, the most recent results are useful and informative, but also like a little color, a little character, a little humor, that definitely kicks things up a notch. So they are taking their time considering the shots. You can see the clock behind Ramin. They have 4.5 minutes to play the last end, so they have plenty of time, and I don't think either team has taken their time out. So they have an additional 90 seconds on top of that, as it looks like I'm not quite sure what shot they called. They can't really peel. I mean, they can't really get rid of the guards. And so, the no-take rule is still in effect. So I think what they had hoped to do is run the center guard back onto the yellow and kind of do a run back kick, and it didn't work. But I guess it was worth trying. So now we have Trey McDonald's first of this last end of regulation. Should we be tied after regulation, we will play an extra end. And we have yet to see an extra end at this tournament. So it looks like Trey was asked to draw a round, and this is going to settle in the rings. Pretty open, actually going to go to the back. Is it going to go through out of play? Not quite. But it's going to settle in the back 12-foot 4 second shots. And so now the 5-rock rule is over. So now Ramin has the broom down again. And now this time he wants to see granite fly. which is going to be the name of my airline, Granite Fly, Granite Air. As Jerry St. James gets set. So this is a little wide, but it's going to make enough contact on the center line guard to clear it, and the shooter itself also rolls away. Mission accomplished. So it looks like Trey's going to be asked to draw again. And it's looking pretty good out of hand. It looks kind of similar to his first, a bit lighter. Especially as Michael is sweeping it to make sure it gets into the rings. Team Padilla needs to steal the win. Gilbert just needs one to secure the victory. And so now Padilla is sitting in first and third shot, while Gilbert has that second stone in the back of the 12 foot. And so Gilbert's asking St. James to clear again. Other rotation. As Jerry shuts away, looking to clear out the front, do some cleanup on aisle B. Or B. I don't think people say B. Hit's made and goes over the top of the shot stone, out of play, and the shooter is also lost. But now it is a wide open front, and that situation is playing towards what Gilbert needs. He basically needs a wide open house for a draw for the win. So we are to Alex Conway's first. Looking for a draw front stone. And trying to see if I can see where the stone is. This is going to be a guard. And so Gilbert's going to make a play on it. I'm curious about why going after the guard makes sense to a certain point, but also getting rid of the yellow counter also works. As Jerry St. James has the broom down for Ramin Gilbert's first, looking to clear out the guard. Sweepers are on it, looking to, it gets two moving. The yellow that was in the rings that got contacted, or one of the stones sticks around. And, sweepers are on it, looking to, it gets two moving. The yellow that was in the rings that got contacted. So the shot stone went away, but the shooter just rolled to the back 8 foot and is now it's shot. So it was a good shot there from Gilbert, and now we're going to see another guard put up. And they're going to clear it, just again keeping that clear open front of the house so they can draw for the win, draw a tap for the win. As Ramin gets set for some more clearing action. Doing the other rotation, going for the counterclockwise out turn. this is going to be, it's going to flash, it's going to make any contact at all, and no, it's not. So now Padilla has a chance to split the rings and sit 2. And maybe go buried under the guard that survived. So the broom is down. I was guessing they're going to draw around. There's some talk about maybe putting up another guard with 3 stones to go after Padilla's first. We are to skip stones. A tie game. All square at 4. I think both these teams are 1-1 if I remember correctly. So the winner of this game is going to have an advantage as pool play continues for the rest of the day. Padilla's shot is away. Going for the counterclockwise rotation. It's going to be a guard. I might slip into the rings. So it crashes on the guard. It was a draw. And I think people are saying that's where they wanted it. So Team Gilbert has called their timeout. Let's see if we can listen in. It never works, but maybe this is the time it works. So the timeout's over. I guess that's a little louder than I thought it was going to be. Sorry if I blasted your speakers or headphones. So decision made. I think they're looking to draw now and kind of beat Padilla to the center of the rings. And that would also force Padilla to do a tricky draw for his last. And that does make a certain amount of sense. That seems to be a good use of a timeout. As we see David Hurst with his first of the 2 fourth stones here for Team Gilbert. So the line is going to be interesting. It looks like it's definitely going to pass a guard, barring some weird circumstance. Light, weight's 1356, so it might be just a little heavy. It's going to settle into the back 8 foot. It spun back towards the center ever so slightly, so by my view it looks like it's red. But on the overhead it's hard to tell, and everyone in the warm room and everyone on the ice is trying to take a look to see who it is. So Padilla now needs to be sitting shot after this delivery to remain alive. But just a pretty well played end. Padilla has also called their timeout, so let's also see if we can listen in.
Now they're going in their timeout. On their timeout. I think the way they react. Really?
What are you talking about? You never know.
So the broom is down. I think they're basically going to try to follow Gilbert down because there's backing, and they'd be sitting 2. And then I just kind of forced Hurst to make a similar shot to David's first. It's a tricky situation, and I guess it's still a bit of a question whose shot. It looks like red. But I think just draw and make sure that you're shot. That's the way to go. As Danny Padilla gets set for his last rock without the hammer here in the 8th end of a tied game. I don't know if he floated it out on his release. Sweepers are yelling to sweep. It's over curling. It's going to be on the guard. If it's not, it might be super close. Padilla's not happy. It's on the guard. And that's going to be handshakes. They were sure that it was red counting, and that's going to be the game. Make the final. Gilbert 5, Padilla 4. And so in the standings, that means there's now 2 teams at 2 and 1, and 2 teams at 1 and 2, and this is all in Pool 1. Looking at Pool 1, there's 5 teams. So Skidmore and Gilbert are at 2 and 1. Padilla and Malaret are at 1 and 2, and Team Collins is at 1 and 1. So much to play for as they wrap up their game. We're going to wrap up coverage as on sheets D to recap the action on that game. Team Connolly has jumped up to a 7-3 lead over Team Ewers. Ewers has the hammer coming home, but it appears that Connolly is sitting shots fairly well buried, especially as Ewers needs 4 to tie, 5 to win. So we're going to leave it there for now. Before we sign off, another hearty thanks to our sponsors for their support of broadcasting and the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. That includes doubletakeout.com, offering rankings of the top men's and women's teams from around the world at doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. For skips and curlers who love a good game, curling.gg is your ultimate practice tool. And by Endgame Curling. Unlock your potential with a curling broom that's right for you. Endgamecurling.com. And just another reminder, endgamecurling.com. There's the graphic, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We hope that you'll be back with us tonight for our 4:30 broadcast, where it's going to be Team Palmore of Oval taking on Team Blatcher of OC Curling. And we also have some MoPac After Dark on tap, currently set for Team Feldman taking on Team Ewers. And it's going to be at 8 p.m. at 8 p.m. Pacific Mountain Standard Time. And so until then, on behalf of all of us here at MoPac and Coyotes Curling, and with thanks to our sponsors, doubletakeout.com, curling.gg, and Endgame Curling, this is your host, Ryan Olson, saying good afternoon, good curling, and we hope to see you at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Mountain Standard Time.